So, good evening, everyone. I am Bharat. Today, I'm going to discuss on a not so new topic, but the one which I got a chance to work on in my earlier project. That is integrating the Salesforce CRM into a Drupal website. There's a simple integration guide where we followed few steps in our recent project which we have concluded. I'll go through the basics of Salesforce, what is Salesforce, and what are the benefits of what are the use cases of integration with Drupal, and what will the benefits when we integrate this, and discuss on a Salesforce suite contrib module, which is something which we have used and which is widely used on Drupal for connection between Salesforce and Drupal. So Salesforce is a company which provides a CRM solution. It's one of the biggest company that is leading in the CRM solutions. So basically, CRM solution is a customer relationship management system where in that system there is a lot of customer data, be it the profile details, be it if you take a commerce site, the order details or the user activity details, where certain operations can be performed and certain business decisions can be taken. So the CRM solution provides package solution provides these things together. So I did with a lot of businesses when the CRM solutions came up. The customers and the business have got together and have benefited a lot here. So ideally, this point we can see that the effective solutions which Salesforce provides is managing the sales, customer service, marketing automation, analytics, and many more. So one such thing which we are going to discuss is the Sales Cloud. So Sales Cloud is all about gathering of information. There is a lot of data which is present on Salesforce, which we can use on Drupal and make some meaningful decisions for the users. So when it comes to integration use cases, uh, why do we need integrations is, first of all, having the data for removing the data discrepancy issues. So once the user profiles are present on CRM, we can sync them back to websites and there won't be any data discrepancy. So, and the CRM tracks a lot of users and there's a lot of behavioral activities of the users which are present in that. For suppose there is a commerce site, the CRM tracks the user's orders history and the user's the pages which he visits, like the product which he sees, and based on that, uh, they can take a decision where once the user comes back on the website, then based on the data which we have, we can come back to a meaningful decision and show the personalized content to the user. So everything is tracked into the CMS. Onto the CRM. The user activities will be tracked, the page visits will be tracked, interactions will be tracked, the downloads will be captured. So everything will be captured. And the biggest use case of Salesforce would be the lead generation forms. So there might we on Drupal we might have contact forms and web forms on our website. So and there might be call to action buttons as well. So those things also can be integrated into CRM, where if a potential customer wants to work with us or have details of our project, we can just have a form over there, and once it is saved, the lead will be created onto the CRM, and the sales people can pick up that, and then it can be converted into a business. So that is one potential big use case. Now coming back to now, what will be the benefits? As we have seen, uh, the data management will be easier. So with the CRM integration, ideally before the CRM was present, so the data was getting manually copied. Even I worked on one project where the data which was present on a Drupal site had to be copied onto a big portal where sales and marketing team were accessing it. So before the CRM solutions were present, the data used to be manually copy paste. So with when the Salesforce, when the CRM solutions came, not only Salesforce, there is a lot of CRMs like HubSpot and etc. So when these came up, the data management has become easy. Everything will be synced. The changes in CRM will be posted onto website. The changes in the website will be posted onto CRM. So thereby, the data will be easily tracked on both the ends. Now, once the data is there with us, we'll have a big picture of what customer needs are. So with respect to that, we can create some actionable items and come up with the solutions which can help our business as well as the customer in a better way. And this better collaboration between stakeholders is again, as I said, while we are copying, there could be some discrepancies in the data management. So now once the CRM is integrated, once the data is flowing from a CRM to site and site to back to CRM, there will be a better collaboration between the stakeholders, and the lead generations will be quick and the business outcomes will be faster. Now with all the data together, uh, we have the customer data and everything is getting timely updated, right? So thereby the customer service will also get improved, and the customer will be happy, and thereby this business gets more profits. So this is how this will be advantageous when a CRM will be integrated. If there is a need only, not every solution needs a CRM, but if there is a need where the CRM is mandatory, then having Salesforce would be a very, very good solution for any business. So now when it comes to integration with Drupal, uh, there are three kinds of integration which we can do. One is the contrib modules, which comes with the complete API integration solution, with the latest authentication techniques as well. Uh, Initially, when the Salesforce Suite module came up, it was only the basic auth authentication, but now it has a JWT as well. Then again, there are a few other modules which embed only the CRM elements like Marketo and everything, where we can create the forms and embed them into our fields. Then the custom API integrations. We can still create a API app, connected app on the Salesforce, and then we can use the tokens and customer secret in our HTTP client and Guzzle HTTP API calls, and then we can create it. So going to a custom API solution would be if we have a particular scenario with respect to only bringing a particular data, then only it's feasible, because it involves in writing a lot of Salesforce object SQL queries, which are little complicated though, but still manageable once we get used to it. So if we want an end-to-end solution in Drupal, we have to go with the Salesforce Suite module. This is the module which is the most reliable module and most used module when it comes to Salesforce integration. And this does not come as a single module. It comes with the 9 to 10 different sub modules, where every module has its own functionalities. So for us to just get it started, only just to form a connection between Salesforce and the Drupal side, we just need two modules, which is Salesforce integration and Salesforce OAuth user agent provider. So this module provides the integration bridge between that, and this provides an authentication interface. And the JW2 auth provider is the latest one, where this involves more modern way of authentication techniques based on JWT. This we'll discuss while the demo. Uh, Let me show you the authorization windows. So this is how the authorization, once you enable the module, there will be a Salesforce menu which will be created under configuration menu, and there will be a Salesforce authorization here. There are a few basic Salesforce settings which are present, where we have the cache lifetime, global queue limit, pool max size, and uh, object revisions, and this latest there is a v60.0 version which is running right now on Salesforce. We can use that, or if we disable that, there are a lot of versions which we get. So right now for this demo, I'm using the latest version. Now, once you try to add an auth provider here, there are there are two or three present here. Haven't tried this Gauntlet, but these two are the techniques where when you use Salesforce OAuth user agent, the consumer key and the consumer secret which we create on the Salesforce connected app has to be created here, and we have to give the exact login URL. If you are using a sandbox account, we have to give it as a test.salesforce.com. Or else if you are using a developer account or a live account, we have to use the login.salesforce.com. So this is the OAuth user agent authentication. This more or less works like a basic auth, where we give the consumer key and consumer secret. Once you give the right URL and once you hit save, it will redirect to the Salesforce. You have to again give your Salesforce credentials over there, and bunch of operations will be done. Once you proceed over there, it will come back to the Drupal instance saying authorized. Once this token status says authorized, we have the bridge between Salesforce and Drupal. So now once these modules are enabled on Drupal, these are the steps to integrate. This can also be termed as the prerequisites, where you need to have a Salesforce developer account. Uh, the clients, if they have, with respect to their projects, they will provide us the actual credentials of their sandbox site and the live instance. But if you want to try it personally, then I would suggest you to create a Salesforce developer account. It's easy to create. We can Google this with say Salesforce developer account, and you get the first registration form. You can just register that. Now, once you create this app, now this is how the homepage looks like. This is the old version of UI of the Salesforce. There is a new Lightning experience, but I haven't got used to it, so I switch back to the old one. So this is how the dashboard looks like. Now, if you want to create a connection between Drupal and Salesforce on Salesforce end, you have to go to the setup here. Then there is an app section here where you can click on manage apps. Now in the bottom, if you see, this is a connected app section where I have already created two connection apps already. Now to create a new one, for the basic auth one, we can just give the names here, then filling up the general details. And then the most important thing is we have to enable the OAuth settings. So now post enabling the OAuth settings, we have to give the callback URL of our website. So now this will be URL/Salesforce/ OAuth callback. Yes, this will be the callback URL for the basic authentication for the Salesforce and Drupal. Now, use digital signatures is used for JWT authentications. That's a different thing. I'll discuss once we see that. Now, for the OAuth scopes, we have to use 4 different OAuth scopes. One is full access, one is refresh tokens, one is manage user data APIs, and manage user data via web browsers. These are the 4 OAuth scopes minimum to be selected for us to execute the full functional operation between Salesforce and Drupal. So now just remove this. This is something, it's kind of a 2-factor authentication thing. This is not set up on my Salesforce, so I'm just checking out this. Now, once you save this form, yeah, now you'll see this kind of window. Once you save this form, there is a There's a consumer key and secret key button here. Once you click on this, you will get an OTP to your mail account. Here you can copy the consumer key and create a new one. You paste the consumer key here and consumer secret here. Now in this, as you're using a developer account, either you have to give it as the login.salesforce.com or your base URL of the Salesforce dashboard. So this URL also can be given here. But I'll use login.salesforce.com. Let me not set this default. No, no. This will take some time maybe to get it updated. Maybe I have one more which is working. And this will ideally, whatever the changes you do here on Salesforce, it will take at least 10 to 15 minutes to get it reflected again. So ideally, this is the way you create a flow for basic auth. I have already created few authorizations here. The providers are working. If something, let's say if the token is missing, it says as token status as missing. So once if you want to get it authorized, you have to get this saved properly. So that is how we can say that the successful connection has been established. This is how the basic auth looks like. This is just the screenshots here. Now coming to JWT. JWT, what we have to do is we have to, one moment. There is a we have to create a public private key. There is a command which is there. Just let me get that command. Yes. Now this is the command which is used to create the public and private key. I have already created two. Yeah. A bunch of questions which it will ask. So if you go to the code page, yeah, you see in the keys folder, two keys will be created. One is the public key, one is the private key. The private key, which is key.pem, must be added in our instance in the keys section. I have already added one. Yeah. So we have to create the key power address file and we have to give the path of the key here. Now, when you in the Salesforce section, there will be slight differences here. Now, the callback URL no longer needs to be OAuth Salesforce /OAuth callback. Now here we have to check this box. Then you'll get this option here. Then you have to upload the certificate.pm, which is the public key, and rest flow remains the same. Where you select all these things and you save this, and you'll get the similar window where you have to open the consumer secret and consumer key. Now there will be one difference when it comes to JWT auth. You have to give your login user. You no longer need to use your secret key. You just need to give your login user ID and the consumer key. and you have to point your private key here. So once you give all these details and you try to save it, then this ideally will be authorized. So for local instances, it will take some time. Ideally, it took me in my previous project, it took me around 12 hours to get everything running with respect with GWT, but basic auth was 15 minutes. So that's how we authenticate. There are two different ways of authentication right now with Salesforce uh, suite module. One is JWT and the other one is the basic auth. Those two are the popularly used one. Now comes the part of data synchronization. So most the Salesforce suite module in Drupal, the most used scenario is syncing the data from Salesforce and Drupal, Salesforce into Drupal. And there are, again, as I said, there are uh, different modules for different functionalities here. So first of all, when we want to sync the data, we have to create the mappings between the Salesforce objects and the Drupal entities. So the nodes which we have in Drupal, if we want to similarly pronounce in Salesforce, they are called as records. Now the content types, the entities, basically the taxonomies, and on the Salesforce they are called as objects. So Salesforce objects and the content types can be same. So nodes and the records will fall under the same terminology. So now if we want to enable the data synchronization, we have to enable four modules here. One, Salesforce pull, push, mapping, and mapping UI. So mapping gives the functionality, and mapping UI gives the front end interface for mappings. So in the mapping window, this falls under structure, Salesforce mappings. So this is what looks like. So I have already added a mapping which ideally says, you know, we are mapping Drupal node entity of account bundle to a Salesforce object which says account. So these are the basic settings which you can see. This will ideally take up some time because while loading the mappings page and while loading the settings page, the Salesforce will reauthorize just to check if the token authorized is present or not. So now this is the basic setting form where you give the label, then you select what kind of Drupal entity you want to do, you want to map the data with. Then you can select the bundle of the data. Let's say I have selected content and then I have taken an account content type. I have created account content type. This is a simple content type which has only the title field. There are not much fields here. Yeah, only the title and the body field. Some sort of box. Then we select the Salesforce object which we want to map with our account content type. That will be the account object. Now this will be the action trigger. So what operation we want to perform the data sync? Either once the Drupal entity got created, when the Drupal entity got updated, deleted. Similarly, when the Salesforce object is created, I mean the Salesforce record is updated over there or created over there, deleted over there. We want every action to be executed. Now, post this, ideally this is the default setting where the pull happens from the last modified date. Now, once you save this, it redirects to the mapping page. Now, in the mapping page, uh, we have a field type dropdown which brings up properties, related entity items, these entity IDs, constants, and this is something which we use for Drupal fields. This has to be used for taxonomy IDs. So yeah, taxonomy IDs and entity references. So if you have some field which is referred to a taxonomy or referred to a content reference, then you have to select this and give the uh, respective Salesforce field name. Now, when it comes to mapping, we have three different directions here. Uh, so the first two are ideally unidirectional, which is Drupal to Salesforce is the action happens only once there is an update on Drupal, and it only pushes data from Drupal to Salesforce. So if let's say if the record is updated on, let's say if a record is updated on Salesforce, that will not bring back, this field will ideally not get synced into Drupal. If we select this one. Now, if we say SF to Drupal, it will be the other way around. If something is happening on Drupal, it won't push to on this field to on Drupal, it won't push to Salesforce. But if something changes for that field, for the account name field on Salesforce, it'll push back to the Drupal. Now, sync is a bidirectional thing. If there is a change in title field or account name field on Drupal and Salesforce, the sync will happen. Okay, for instance, let's create one content type and see if this works as we have Salesforce comes with a bunch of once you create a developer account, Salesforce comes with a bunch of uh, dummy data where we can use it for syncing purposes and testing purposes. Uh, I'm just leveraging those fields here. There, one which I have already shown. This is the accounts which I've already synced before the demo, just for testing purposes. Now, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity Salesforce object where we'll try to, dump this into Drupal. Will This is an account name. This is a reference field. We'll try to use these two fields and pull the data. Let me create a new field. I have only these two fields. Now go to Salesforce mappings. For add, I'll be adding a new mapping. I want this to be on content. This is taking up some time. I haven't understood why this is. I checked the module. I think there is some issue which is going on here. Now we have to select opportunity. Selecting an exact thing is also very much important. Now I want this action to be executed on create, push, update, sorry, delete, Salesforce, create, Salesforce update, and Salesforce. Let this process. Now, if you are well versed with SQL queries, I mean Salesforce object query language, then we can give a where condition as well based on if we get to understand the record type, how the record schema is present in Salesforce, that sorry, object schema is present on Salesforce, then we can execute few Salesforce queries. We can pass some where conditions here. Now let me create these opportunities. Let's go. Create the title. I think it's name. Now related entity IDs. Yeah. This is a field only. No, opportunities. Oh, oh, sorry. I have added it on the other content type. We want this to be on the opportunities content type. Let us add this. Let's do it. Yeah. The entity reference fields will be displayed only under related entity IDs. So we have to remember if we have any fields under entity reference and we are getting those references from the Salesforce, then we have to add related entities field type. Yeah. Now we have created our mapping. Now for pulling data, we have two different ways of doing it. One through once you enable the Salesforce pull and push modules, the pull is a queue processor, queue worker API, uses queue worker API. So once you execute the cron pull, everything will be sitting into a queue. The other way will be there is a drush command which says uh, drush Salesforce pull query. Now, once you execute this, it will give you the list of mappings which you want to pull. So, which you want to pull from Salesforce. Now, we want opportunities mapping. We just give it one here. Then, okay, no records. I think just before the demo, I think I have created this one. I have used this already, so that's why it's coming. So we can just reset the last pull date. Uh, if we reset it, it will just go to never. Then again, once we try to execute the Salesforce pull query, the items will be coming and sitting into the queue. So ideally, if once you're, this is again a handy use case which is created here. So if you have any data discrepancies or corrupted data, if you feel the data is corrupted and if you feel the fields are not mapped properly, then you can remigrate everything, resync everything by just resetting the pull date here. You can just reset the pull date to never, and then again, it will start syncing from the point one. I'm taking up some time. Yeah, now it's set to never. I think now it should work. Just before the demo, I tried mapping if it's working or not. So maybe that's why it's not pulling up. Just clear the cache and check if it works. No. So let's go back here. Now let us say I edit this. Okay. Record has been deleted. Acha, okay. Okay. Got it. Now let me create a new opportunity. Okay. So what happened was ideally when I tried mapping uh, before the demo. So when I deleted the content, once it is posted here, as I've mapped between uh, Salesforce delete, everything is checked in the settings. Where was that? The object creation, push object, Drupal entity delete. The sync was there. So once I deleted the opportunities here, the opportunities which are there in the Salesforce are also deleted. So now once I created the new opportunity, once you pull the cron, it will be coming into this Salesforce cron. Now we have, I use the queue manager module here. So if you inspect this, you'll see the object which is coming into Drupal. So this is the new opportunity which we have created, and this is the account ID which we have linked. So that is this kind of a node ID. So account ID is something, there is an entity reference over there, right? So this is kind of a node ID where it has mapped it. So now if we go ahead and process this queue, a content will be created. Yeah. And this get tagged here. So this Dickinson PLC is our node number 4. Yeah. This is got tagged. So that's how the pull works. So push is something, once you make changes here, this will be automatically updated on Salesforce as well. Push is a synchronous thing here. Once you save this, it has to get updated. Yeah, you see the title got updated. So this is how the pull and push works. Uh, Now we can delete this. Still, once you delete this, this will get deleted here. Uh, those are the basic operations between Salesforce and Drupal data sync. This, yeah, that's it. So to conclude this, the most important points to remember is on the API limits part. This all on the API end as only, right? So the limits are set with respect to the license. I don't have the exact count of it, but Salesforce does a good job where, if let us say, if we have a mapping and that has a 50K records or 100K records present on that mapping. So if you're pulling at single pull, it will count that as a one API call. It doesn't count every object as a single API call. It will just take the main object itself is a API call. So if it might have 100K records or 200K records, single API call. So again, if somehow the queue got broke, then that will be counted as another API call. Unless and until if there is a successful queue processing running up for pulling records, it's always on the single API call. Now, once while you're pulling the records, if there are any scenarios where it might break the system. The one which we have identified in our project was the title field was mandatory from Drupal 8. So we were migrating content from Drupal 7 where some of the nodes did not have titles. So we had to make changes. So there, once while you're processing the queue, it will throw an error. and you can see the errors in the queue itself. So what is happening over there? So again, if you feel the records are corrupted and wrong data is synced, we can always go back and reset the last modified date and pull the records again. And Salesforce also provides a good logger module where everything is logged properly. What error is throwing is shown during the pull and push transactions. Yeah, this is the simple integration guide for Drupal and Salesforce. There is much to add to it. There is custom queries which we have used, and we can write a custom integration as well. Uh, for that, we have to properly understand the Salesforce object schema uh, for writing the query. So that's I'm still pursuing. I can discuss that in the next time. So I'm open for questions.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I had an amazing time learning all the new things here at Specbee's TechX. And if you did too, do let us know in the comments below. Keep following Specbee for the latest trends in technology. See you in the next one.